Welcome to Creative Brews. I'm Kristen, and this is your weekly dose of creativity, where photography, design, and life come together. So, grab your favorite drink, and let's talk about what's brewing. Hello! I hope everybody is having a fantastic day out there. Today, we're going to be talking about a pretty interesting topic. At least, I think it's interesting anyway. So, today's episode, I'm just going to go ahead and hop right on in. I've got coffee in my little cat mug here. And today's episode is accompanied by my son. You here to do an episode with Mama? Huh? Yes. He is so super cute. I was trying to do an episode while he was asleep. That's what I usually do. It's been a while since I've done an episode with him, like, right here in front of me. Because, like I said, I try my best to do an episode while, or, sometimes I'm able to do a couple episodes while he's asleep. Just because I'm able to think, clearer and stuff like that. I'm not having to multitask and stuff. So, anyways, we're going to go ahead and hop right on in because here in a little while, it's time for you to eat, ain't it? Time to get you a baba. Okay, so, like I said, I'm going to hop right on in. We're going to hit the ground running. So, today I want to talk about creating from the heart. And I think in one of my episodes, I touched on hashtags and stuff like that, and people associating having 1,000 hashtags on their video or photo or whatever content they're uploading with going viral. Okay. So that's kind of what brought on this / I started posting some different style of content on my Instagram. So what sparked that was kind of like the idea of doing vlogs. Like, I've been told from family members, friends, random people, oh, well, now that you're a mom, you should do vlogs and stuff like that. I've thought about doing that, but with the podcast, I'm not so sure that I really have time. You know what I mean? Yes. You're probably going to hear my son in the background, by the way. Sometimes it's the only way, like, if you want to do an episode, it's the only way to do an episode. Now, I don't stop what we're doing to do an episode. So let's just go ahead and get that clear, okay? Because I can already hear people saying, oh my God, she's, spending her time that she could be spending with her son doing an episode. No. Definitely not. This podcast, like I said, is not monetized. So that's on YouTube. Anywhere that I upload this podcast, it's not monetized. So I'm not doing this because I get paid. I'm not doing this because I receive some kind of benefit from it. Honestly, I think the best way that I can put doing the podcast and stuff like that is, one second, is I'm doing these episodes more for me than for you. Does that make sense? But in that, I hope people do, watch and stuff like that and have fun and, learn some things and stuff like that. Like, I'm not saying that I do these episodes for nothing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the passion, I guess this is what I'm saying. The passion behind doing these episodes come from me, and I want to share and I want to help. I want to create community and stuff like that. That's the big overall message here. It's not that I want to become famous and rich and a YouTuber or a content creator. That's not why I'm doing these. Just kind of veer off the path here a little bit, right? So yes. Anyways, again, creating from the heart, creating content from the heart. I think the shift happened. Like I said, I've been leaning into my spirituality a lot more as I get older. Probably has something to do with becoming a new mom and stuff like that, I'm sure. But yeah, ever since I did that and have started leaning into the spiritual side of things and associating the spiritual side with my business, with creating, with this podcast and stuff like that. Does that make sense? So, am I always going to talk about spiritual things? No, I'm not. But when you sit and think about it, a lot of living and life is very spiritual. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Anyways, so this came from and kind of sparked from I started, like I said, doing some different content on Instagram and stuff like that. I think what video? It was basically a time when Patrick and I was shooting a wedding not that long ago. And I was taking snippets and some behind the scenes and stuff like that. As well as I wanted to challenge myself with putting together maybe even a wedding type of video, like cinematically, and tell the story and kind of bring you into that day and the vibes and aesthetics and all that other stuff. So like I said, I challenged myself to do that. And within doing that, I really thought about it and I was like, you know what? It would be awesome to do that in my everyday life. Like, it's kind of like basically romanticizing your own life as you're living it. Does that make sense? And for me, it's more important to stay present within that. So within all of this, it's like a reminder for me. So this is why I say a lot of what I create, a lot of what I talk about is more because yes, I want to share, I want to help, I want you to ask questions, I'll try to help you as much as I can. But it's more for me as a reminder, as a mom, especially to stay present, stay in the present moment. Stop thinking about next month, stop thinking about tomorrow, stop thinking about the past, because you can't change your past. It's happened. You're now here. It's all about the now. You know what I mean? So, like I said, the time is now. And that really has helped me stay present and stay grounded and not feel overwhelmed, especially with every single thing that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Yes. I'll probably edit some of this out. So this is probably going to be a fun one to edit. But I think you get what I'm saying. So, of course, I definitely have some things written down because I got this idea like early July, and I was like, oh my God, I need to write this down. And when I should have been going to bed, it sparked. And I was like, I'm going to write this down. So I wrote down some things. So, with what I just said, I wrote down, stop worrying about, not that I personally worry about these things, but I feel like other people who maybe upload content or, a lot of people just want to upload videos and go viral. Like, a lot of people these days just want to be a YouTuber, a content creator, and stuff like that. When, it's not about that. Like, it's really not about who's watching. Like I said before, I'm doing this podcast, and I wanted to do this podcast for so long. More for, like I said, me. Like, I'm talking about things that I love and stuff like that. And yes, I'm sure in future episodes I'll do topics on, what you guys want to see and stuff like that. Because as you do it and as you grow, the only way that you grow is by consistency, which is a very hard thing for people, especially when people want to upload a few videos and go viral. And they're like, you see all this stuff, especially on TikTok. Like when I was on TikTok, you see all these TikToks about you need to upload X amount of times a day, which I'm about to talk about all of this. Because I kind of broke it up into sections and stuff like that. And you need to do this, and you need, as if going viral is like a recipe. Like, here's the recipe, and they put it up on the screen, or they talk about it, or they'll write about it in the description. And, everybody can do those steps, and you have people out there who are religiously thinking, I'm going to go viral one day. Like, I have to consistently do this. I've got to overwork myself. I've got to hustle. I got to blah, blah, blah. Like, all these things that, no, actually, you need to do the complete opposite of what you logically think you've got to do. Think about that and reverse it. Does that make sense? Because if you reverse what you logically think you have to do, that's actually what you should and need to be doing. Like, I think, of course, there's people out there that have gone viral, but guess what? They were completely, like a lot of them were completely not actively trying to be a viral creator or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like, it's all a surprise to them that they, are now viral or whatever, So stop worrying about who, how many, I'm not going viral, etc. Stop worrying about numbers. Stop worrying about likes. Stop worrying about who's sharing and not sharing and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Because it really... I'm laughing about it, and I really just want to laugh about it because, like I've stated before, there is no recipe for going viral. Upload religiously, like 3 videos a day or whatever they're saying nowadays. Use these hashtags and, make sure your video is this long and make sure you've got text on the screen and make sure this, make sure that. Make sure you go from the bottom up or whatever, like if you're on TikTok or Shorts or whatever. People, take that, what they just said, ball it up and throw it out the window, okay? Going viral, if it happens to you, that's great. And if you just so happen to do all these things and you do go viral, a lot of times it doesn't stick. Why? Because you're not creating from the heart. Does that make sense? So if you... What's the best way to explain it? I feel like I've really explained it well. If you basically create content from a place of, I have to do XYZ every single day, you're going to burn yourself out. You're not actually going to get what you're looking for and hoping for. And what is that going to do? Is going to start wearing you down. And you're going to burn out, like I just said. So when you're creating from a place of I have to do, you're forcing it. Like I said before, I keep saying this, and I know it's probably like you keep saying the same thing, sorta. But like I've said in previous episodes, if you're forcing something, it's not going to work the way that you want it to. Well, not in the way that you want it to, but when you're forcing something, like I said before, you can't force a circle into a square or a square into a circle. It's just not going to work. So if you're forcefully trying to go viral so bad, and you're forcefully trying, is that funny? Yeah. to grow your subscribers or followers or whatever. Like all these things I'm talking about, it just makes me want to laugh because when you finally wake up, right? You smell the coffee, right? The coffee's brewing, you smell it, you finally woke up one day and you're like, oh my God, like why was I beating myself up about XYZ? And I was religiously doing it every single day. You're just going to stop and be like, none of it actually matters. It does not matter how many followers you have. Unless, like I said, unless you're trying to actively be like a content creator for someone or something. A lot of like agencies, yes, they do want to see big numbers as far as followers, but honestly, I think they're starting to take a step back and be like, actually, it doesn't matter, because I've seen big quote unquote creators and people have big numbers as far as followers go, but when you look at their content, like nobody's watching, nobody's supporting, nobody's, So that just tells me that a lot of people create from a place of I have to. And that's what this whole episode is about. Creating from the heart. When you actually create something that you genuinely love, like me, I'm kind of doing vlogs, but in a very different way. Does that make sense? And for me, it's a reminder to stay present, stay grounded, be in the moment. I'm not so much worried about what I'm capturing. Does that make sense? And a lot of times, I'm not capturing my whole day. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. I'm not going to kill myself to capture and vlog my whole day. Now, I might do snippets and tidbits throughout the day, but that's about it. I mean, honestly, I haven't decided what I want to call these. I do kind of like want to call them something cute, something meaningful, something that sounds right, feels right, sounds right. And I can already hear some comments saying, well, when I do that, nobody sees it, nobody likes it, nobody, whatever. Well, that's because you're trying to create, again, from a place of I have to. So what I mean by that is, if, let's say you're like, okay, well, I'm going to try this new point of view. I'm going to try to create from the heart truly. And let's see what happens, right? Well, a lot of people do that and they've still got it in their subconscious mind that I am going to do this and I'm going to go viral. Like, this is going to be it. Like, this is the video I'm creating from the heart and all this other stuff. No. You truly, truly, truly should be creating from the heart. Like I said, I'm doing all of this stuff, like the series, the challenges, and stuff like that because I enjoy doing it. And when you truly, truly enjoy doing something, people eventually catch on. And they're like, you know what? This is a breath of fresh air. They're not trying too hard, and all that other stuff. The key to success is one of the keys to success is consistency. So you need to be your own cheerleader. You need to cheer yourself on. You need to have some kind of almost like an emotional connection to what you're creating. That's how truly like amazing photos are taken or amazing cinematography. Artists what are some famous artists? I mean, people like oh gosh, my brain goes blank whenever I'm trying to specifically think of. But if you can think of an artist, right? When did they get famous? Most likely a lot of artists, like I'm talking about painters and stuff like that, and some musicians, a lot of them didn't like get the fame that they should have gotten until they pass away, until they're no longer here. One of them being Andy Warhol. Like, he did not get big until he passed away and was, passed away for a little while. Like, it's sad, but it's true. You don't get famous overnight, and your soul, like the whole, what am I trying to say? You shouldn't live your life to become famous or go viral or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because in that you miss opportunities, actually. You miss living your life to the fullest and stuff like that, So, let's see here. The next thing I have written down, basically is what I've been talking about. When you let go and stop trying to control and just create from the heart, that's when you get true followers. So, again, it might be slow. It might not be going as quickly as you would like it to, or maybe it is. That's why I say there's no recipe for going viral, and you shouldn't, kill yourself every single day, upload 7 videos or whatever the case is. Like, that's crazy. Okay, when you actually sit down and think about it and speak it out loud, it's crazy. Everyone loves aesthetics, but creating from the heart and because you love it and being your authentic self is priceless. And when you make I think I kind of, I don't know. A lot of this stuff I write down, and some of it doesn't make sense because sometimes it's in a hurry. But basically, what I've been saying, when you're being authentic, your authentic self, people can pick up on that. People can pick up on a staged video versus a video where you just sat down and word vomited. You know what I mean? That's the reason why, like, these are podcasts. I originally made them because I'm a new mom. There's not a lot of editing being involved. I'm not trying to stage stuff. Now, yeah, I try to have a background so that way, for the visual people, if you're actually watching, you can not be bored, hopefully. And have a nice background and stuff like that. But I'm not going to purposefully, stage stuff up. I don't come up with scripts for my videos or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's not a production at the end of the day. Yes, I go the extra mile and I have a nice mic, a nice camera, and a cheap light that I got from Walmart. You know what I mean? I try to at least have some kind of quality with what I'm doing. And that's in all aspects of my life, is not just with, creating content and stuff like that. Or, podcast and all the other stuff that I do. It's because, I want to put out quality stuff, not shit stuff. You know what I mean? Stuff that looks terrible or whatever. So yeah, people can pick up on that. When you purposefully, that's funny. When you purposefully set up stuff and you're not having a good time, or you're just creating with no attachment, or are just not authentic, people can see and feel that. Yes, they can. I just talked about that basically. And I've seen people say, well, I've lost followers and all this other stuff. But you will actually lose people more when you're not you. And I put you in all caps. And you are not creating because you love it or having a good time. And that's very true. I've seen people who are saying oh, well, I upload religiously, I put up quality stuff, and all this other stuff, and I've gained some followers, but I just lost a bunch of followers, or, nobody's watching, or whatever it is. It's because, like I said, you're not creating from the heart truly. If you have to truly be creating from the heart. And when you know that you're truly creating from the heart, you don't care about your followers. You don't care about who's watching. You don't care about numbers, how many people liked your video, how many people watched your video. You know what I mean? These are all, it's kind of in a relationship. If you are looking for someone to complete you, okay? This is something that society has drilled into everybody's brains. You gotta find someone who makes you happy. You've gotta find someone who completes you. Well, guess what? I'm here to tell you that if you're not completed, quote unquote, or if you're trying to find someone to make you happy, you're going to be disappointed, and you're going to end up living a life alone, okay? Those are facts. You are not trying to find someone to complete you, and I know this is off subject, and you shouldn't be finding someone or trying to find someone to make you happy. Those are all setups for failure, and 9 times out of 10, somebody actually ends up let's say someone I'm getting excited and tongue-tied at the same time. I have heard people say, oh, well, it was just not the right time. And all this other stuff. And some of that is true. Sometimes, you do meet people at the wrong time. But did you meet them at the wrong time? Or did you have the expectation that they're going to complete you and make you happy? You know what I mean? These are all set up for failure. If you're not completed, you need to stop dating people. And you need to look within and really sit with yourself and figure that out. You know what I mean? That's a separate episode for a separate day. I'm not going to get into that, but if you want me to, I can. But yeah, so anyways, um yeah, people can really pick up on your energy. And honestly, this episode, I might kind of rope it into the Protect Your Energy series that I'm doing. Um, because it basically is, whenever you actually sit down and think about it, it can be roped into alignment and energy, the energy you're giving off, and, being aligned with who you are. When someone's secure within themselves, they don't care if somebody compliments their hair. You know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that. Does that make sense? I'm trying to use different analogies for different times of your life to hopefully get the point across. So, yes. Trying to go back over some things just to make sure. Yeah, this is another thing. When you're actively chasing something, you try to control the outcome. You're trying to control what happens. You're trying to control, going viral, or if you're looking for a new job, right? You've put out 100 applications a day because, again, you're overworking yourself. You're feeling the pressure, and maybe you got some bills that are coming up. You know what I mean? Like, you're feeling the stress, and you're like, oh my God, I've got to keep doing it and stuff like that. Like, it's great that you're actively trying, because some people just don't do that first step, which is actively try. But you got to do it from a place of not trying to control the outcome. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So again, yeah, your energy is your signature. People can feel when you're in flow versus when you're not in flow. So people can feel when you're authentic, joyful, happy, and then they can also feel the wall that you got up. You're not happy, but you're like that. You know what I mean? Like, that was fake. So it's not about being perfect, it's about being real, right? So that saying, your vibe attracts your tribe, authenticity, there we go, is magnetic. So when you are your true self, people get drawn in. And, some people might click on some of my episodes and be like, what is this about? Or I don't plan on watching. But guess what? Then you end up watching the whole video because you got drawn in by me being authentic, my authentic self. I'm not scripted. I'm not putting on a front. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not being a character. I'm not playing a character. This is real life. So yeah. Yes, I think I feel like I've talked about everything. Let go of attachment to the outcome, which is what I just talked about. When you detach from the outcome and just show up as you, magic happens, which is why people who, just put up maybe their first TikTok, maybe their first YouTube video, maybe whatever, their first reel, and they get a great, some great support, and people like, and people comment, and people share. And they're like, wow, they're truly surprised. It's because they were creating from the heart. So you kind of see what I'm saying here. That's when growth becomes sustainable because it's built on you, not a performance. Like I said, I'm not putting these episodes out because I'm trying to perform. I'm not trying to, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all right now. Not only am I not monetized, and I'm not saying that in the future I'm never going to be monetized, right? If that comes, that's great, right? At the end of the day, if you're being paid to do something that you truly love, like that's like the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. I'm living life to the fullest. That's fantastic. It's amazing. And everybody chases that, right? You actively try to control every day to be that and to be that potential or do that potential. But I'm not actively telling myself, oh, I have to upload every Monday so that way I can be successful. So that way I can perform. No, honestly, I'm very surprised at the consistency that I've been able to sustain. And it truly comes from me. Like, it truly comes from a good place. Whereas before, I wasn't creating from the heart. I thought I was, similar to some subjects and topics that I talked about before with spirituality and stuff like that. I'm very surprised at the consistency I've been able to sustain. And when you do truly create from a place of sustainability, from the heart, not because you want to see numbers, not because you're trying to get paid, or not because you're trying to stay home and, do whatever the hell you want to. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get paid to do that. Nobody's going to pay you to do that. And if it happens to you, look, that's great. That's fantastic. But usually, people are not able to sustain that. So these people that go viral because they uploaded a trend or whatever, a trendy video, usually after that trend fades, a lot of, they might be left with a lot of followers, but at the end of the day, are every one of those followers tuning into your video because they want to watch you? Probably not. And some of them might unfollow, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about here. Like, it's great. Everybody wants attention at the end of the day. And if you sit there and say, oh, I'm not someone who wants attention, you're lying, because we're all human at the end of the day. Like, at the end of the day, everybody wants recognition. Everybody wants attention. Everybody wants, a reward, right? But the sustainability comes from within you. It comes from being consistent and, various other different keys to success, right? I also say that it comes from my relationship because honestly, I've never really, and this is kind of personal, but I try to leave things kind of broad and not too personal, but when you're in a great relationship and it's right, you kind of recharge each other, right? So, which I've never had. So I would never take from my fiance and never, replace it or whatever. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. So it comes from him too. I mean, definitely, like, this is a deeper topic to talk about because it not only comes from within you, but it comes from your surroundings. Who are you surrounding yourself with? What are you consuming? Food-wise, entertainment-wise. What are you spending your time doing? Stuff like that. Are you spending time in nature? Did you go touch grass? You know what I mean? That's one of my reels I just uploaded for the Protect Your Energy series. I uploaded a reel today and it said something about touching grass, breathing. Just take a deep breath in and exhale the pressure, stuff like that. Which, if you're interested, y'all should be following me on Instagram. I upload various different things, and after the series is done, I don't know what I'll be uploading then, but I'm sure it'll, I don't know, be something else or maybe similar or something. Okay, we're back. So apparently I've been talking for 40 minutes, which is ridiculous. Apparently I got carried away, and also I went to go and stop recording, and apparently my camera, first off, the battery just died, so that happened. And somewhere along the lines, I think it stopped recording. So this video is going to be interesting to edit whenever I go to edit it all in, or, put it all together. So hopefully it stopped at a good spot. So some of this might be visual, some of it might not be visual, if that makes any sense. And I apologize for the technical difficulties that we experienced today. But, the show must go on, right? So this is real life, like I said. Okay, so yeah, my challenge for you is to go through your content. This is what I'm going to leave with because it's already been 40 minutes. That's crazy. Some of it I'm sure is going to get edited out, but like I said, I don't really edit. I try not to edit or get too crazy with the editing. Anyways, I'm going to encourage you listening and, watching to audit your own content. Is this version of you the real one? Or are you performing? Are you trying to play a character? Are you putting on a mask? So yeah, this week post something because it feels good, because you're creating from the heart, not because it's perfect, not because it's trending, but because it's truly you and you're having fun. People love to see people have fun and do what they love, So yeah, and if you want to, you can tag me in it. If not, that's fine. But anyways, like this video, it's not perfect, or this episode, it's not perfect. None of my episodes are perfect, okay? I'm not striving for perfection here. That's out the window, and has been out the window for years. Like, nobody's perfect. There's not a perfect situation, you know what I mean? So, anyways, I believe that is everything that I wanted to talk about. Again, if there's anything, like if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, please leave them. I love to hear them. I might be doing a Q&A soon. I don't know, we'll see. Because I have received some questions and stuff like that. Not many, but some. Anyways, I hope everybody has a great week. And like always, if this resonated with you, please share it. It truly helps. Especially if someone needs to hear these things. And yeah, I hope everybody has a great week. Like I said, I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.